Hello and welcome back, everyone, to the Hold for Hold Pro Wrestling channel. It is me, I am back. We are back, and by we, I mean me and you. We are here today to discuss AEW Dynamite's anniversary episode. They celebrated their second anniversary, so they had a pretty decent show lined up for us, and it was pretty enjoyable. I would say an average AEW show at at like worse, but which is still really enjoyable. But before I get too much into the specifics of this show, I want to just do the plugging bit. Let's get the plugs out. Like the channel, subscribe to the channel, follow the channel, hold for hold wherever you can find us, and here on the YouTube if you're watching. Post live stream. We do film this live here on Twitch at twitch.tv/hold for hold. So just make sure to check us out, support the channel, help us grow here as we discuss AEW today. Overall, like I said at the beginning, I kind of felt like it was an average show, but an average show of AEW is still really good because they do focus a lot on the in-ring, and I felt all the in-ring work tonight really shined through, especially a couple sleeper matches that I think over I don't know what's the word there, overachieved, I guess. Yeah, they overachieved, and I even think that they did set up some great storylines going forward, especially in the women's division. As a little spoiler alert here, we have a new women's championship. The TBS title has been announced, and there will be a tournament for it, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Could give a lot of women in that division some more shine, which they all deserve. And we're going to talk about a couple of the contestants they seemingly announced already. But yeah, I mean, overall, it seemed like a lot of setup. There wasn't really any blow-offs, a lot of setup here. And down the line, I think there's going to lead some fun matches. And even just starting right out of the gate with a banger match, as we had the Super Elite, this being the Young Bucks, Adam Cole, and Kenny Omega, facing off against Jungle Express and Bryan Danielson and Christian. Of course, I'm not lumping Christian in with the Jungle Express because he's not Jungle Express, he's Christian. We get right to action. There's no entrances for this match. As soon as Dynamite starts, they are all in the ring. So we get a nice bit of offense to start off the match from Jungle Express. They're in charge with some quick tags between Christian and Jungle Boy. This quickly falls apart though as Jungle Boy gets isolated. He finally gets in Bryan Danielson, finally gets in Bryan Danielson here, and he starts kicking and chopping at Matt Jackson until he can't stand. Later on in the match completely disintegrates, and everyone's just fighting on the outside to each their own. Every single bit of the ringside area is filled with people brawling. This leads to Christian taking a nasty indie taker on the outside, and he is out of the match for the rest of the night. We do not see him for the night, and I don't even think they give us an update on his condition. Hopefully, I mean, I'm just gonna assume it was a safe indie taker, so I hope this injury is kayfabe, but it did look a little bit stiff, so we never know. But yeah, this takes him out of the match, so it essentially becomes a handicap match. We get the big kiss spot from the Super Elite where Adam Cole has Jungle Boy in a camel clutch, and he gets 2 kisses right on the cheeks from the Bucks. So crowd loved that. Jungle Boy does eventually hit a huge lariat onto Omega. He looks for a tag, but the Stooges, Nakazawa, and Brandon Cutler pull down Luchasaurus and Bryan Danielson before he can make the tag. We get a stereo DDT to the Young Bucks from Jungle Boy, and finally he gets the hot tag to Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson hits his typical comeback, just really fast strikes, just beating down everyone. Eventually, it's him and Omega in the ring alone, and they start exchanging forearms. We get the typical Danielson comeback with the backflip over his opponent from the top rope, and then that flying clothesline that he hits perfectly. He hits a top rope Hurricane Rana as well onto Omega, and then follows that with a diving headbutt, which I did not expect to see. Not the biggest fan of that move, I'll be honest, but it was cool to see nonetheless. Luchasaurus takes care of the Bucks. Cole gets a big kick onto Luchasaurus. Jungle Boy gets in. He takes down Cole, and Omega hits a Snapdragon on Jungle Boy. Just a really fast sequence there. I couldn't even write down what Jungle Boy did to Cole because it happened so fast. But then we get a Tiger Suplex from Danielson to Omega. He gets 2 off of that. As soon as Omega turns onto his back, though, onto his stomach, though, we get a cattle mutilation, which I absolutely love. Can't get enough of that. Nick Jackson does break it up with a Swanton Bomb from the top rope. Luchasaurus comes back in. He has all the Elite in the corner, and he starts running a train, just hitting everyone in the corner. He gets to Cole's corner, and he gets stopped by a kick. Cole teases a Panama Sunrise on the big man, but instead gets a choke slam onto Omega. That was a very fun spot, by the way. We get a moonsault press to the outside from Luchasaurus. Jungle Boy then hits a botched Hurricane Rana on the apron. It looked rough, guys. It looked like he overshot Nick Jackson on the apron, so his other leg, like his entire half of his body wasn't anywhere, and so he had to flip in the air, and it looked scary. Glad to see he was okay though. So yeah, oh my gosh. From there, Danielson hits a dive through the middle rope, and Omega finishes this big sequence with the nice plancha onto all the members of the opposing team. We then get an assisted Panama Sunrise onto Jungle Boy and a quadruple BTE trigger for the win. Absolutely stellar match. Way too fast for me to run down and take notes. But if you watch one match from tonight, I would suggest it's this. I felt this had a good amount of heat to it. They've been building this match since All Out. The only downside I see is Christian really kind of getting wiped out there at the beginning. Again, I'm going to assume it's kayfabe. I hope it is. That, he's all right. But yeah, that was the one thing. I felt like he didn't get any comeuppance here. But then again, he didn't really have that much beef with everyone. I guess he has beef with Omega. But Omega has beef with Danielson right now. And that's more important if you ask me. So yeah, really good match there. From there, we move on to a Jon Moxley promo. He says he's a little pissed off right now. And he doesn't have much patience nowadays. He says that no one can pin him. So of course they're going to put him in a ladder match. He then calls his daughter insane, and he's going to win tonight. Don't know why he calls his daughter insane, but okay. From there, CM Punk makes his way down the ring, and of course the crowd loves him. He does do a mini stage dive, very little stage dive, a couple people. He talks about his beginnings here in Philadelphia, where they are right now. Talks about how he lived and breathed pro wrestling. He has those new Jordans on that he bought in that Complex sneaker shopping video, which I encourage y'all to watch. It was pretty interesting to see him shop for sneakers. I could have worded that better, but yeah, it's nothing much else, I guess. But then he calls out Daniel Garcia for a match on AEW Rampage this Friday, and that would later get confirmed. So we're going to see Daniel Garcia and CM Punk in the same ring. That's going to be fantastic. At first, this promo was going on a little long because he was doing the whole, I'm happy to be here. Are you guys happy I'm here? And they're like, yeah, we're happy you're here. And he's like, oh, good, because I'm happy to be here. So it took a little long to get to the point, but it's CM Punk. The fans need to have at least 5 minutes of him, so I understand. From there, we get possibly, this is like train wreck. I don't even know. I don't know if I like this ironically or if I genuinely like this, but let's just talk about it. Arn Anderson is in Cody Rhodes' backyard with the trash can and some fire. He's burning one of Cody Rhodes' suit jackets. Don't know how he got it. And he is discovered by Cody from Cody in the background, looking into his backyard like, what are you doing, Arn? What is going on? And he storms down the steps. He's wearing a full suit, by the way. And just the visual of Cody not knowing that Arn Anderson's in his backyard. And Arn even says, it's about time you notice I'm here. Sir, you are breaking and entering. What are you doing? Imagine, I told my girlfriend this. Imagine if your soccer coach just showed up in your backyard one day and was burning your team's uniforms and then gets mad at you as they're burning them. It's so random, but it was really fun. I enjoyed it. He tells Cody to burn his tie, and Cody resists him at his first. He's like, no, I get the point. I get it. And Arn smacks him and takes the tie and burns it anyway. Really weird. I saw a couple of people saying that the overarching story, which I guess I can agree to, is that Arn Anderson is trying to beat the Rhodes out of him. He's trying to get Cody to be an Anderson, not for Cody to be a Rhodes. And I'm glad someone made some meaning out of this, because otherwise this is just a really funny 2 weeks of Arn Anderson being wild, just being absolutely unhinged. But either way, so in the context of that greater story, which I think is actually right. I think once I saw that, I was like, okay, that must be what they're going for here. But you never know with Cody Island. Are they that self-aware? You just never know. But yeah, I'm going to choose to believe that they do know what they're doing with this story, and then that's the story that Anderson is trying to get Cody Rhodes out of the Rhodes legacy and into the Anderson legacy, which is apparently just being wild. Just, oh, it's so good. So I'm enjoying this. It's entertaining, first of all. This is very entertaining for me, which is top priority. I don't know where it's heading, which is nice because you never want to be too predictable. I just don't know how this is going to settle in the ring. It could be a good, like a split storyline, I guess. Another split from the Nightmare Factory, Nightmare family, everything. So who knows? I think this could be a lot of fun though. And if Arn can eventually turn Cody, that's a good story there. And Cody can kind of give us a heel turn that we all want, but not necessarily, acknowledge that he's a heel. So who knows? This could lead some interesting places, I think. So I'm going to give it a chance for now. And it is entertaining. And it's not overstaying its welcome. Which I can't say about a lot of the stuff Cody was doing before. So there's the one up there. First of all, following that, we get a Bobby Fish promo. Just going over his MMA background. He says that Sammy will become the shortest reigning TNT champion because of him. If you don't know, I am a massive Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly stan. I love them. I will admit I was late to the game. I discovered them during their Undisputed Era phase, and I don't think that's wrong because they had such good matches, man. And so now, anytime I see either one of them in singles competition, I'm all for it. I want these guys to be pushed to the moon, and I'm so glad to have a Bobby Fish match to discuss today. So Bobby Fish did take on Sammy Guevara for the TNT Championship. Fun start there. Bobby Fish kind of showed him his experience, kind of humbling Sammy Guevara, telling him he was this close from a high kick. I really enjoyed that work. Sammy is back with the black TNT strap, no longer with the white colorway, which I like that they did that because that gives Miro his own custom title technically, because he's the Redeemer and he redeemed the title, made it white, and now it's back to sins. Big sinner, Sammy Guevara. So anyway, though, we get fun back and forth to start. Like I said, Bobby kicks Sammy off the top rope, and Sammy takes a nasty bump on the way down there. And that's kind of a theme in this match. Anytime that Sammy goes for something on the top or is on the apron, he gets kicked down, and he doesn't learn. He does not learn. Bobby Fish takes advantage of that multiple times. We get a nice tope atomico into the ring from Fish for 2. Fish starts to kick the legs out from under Sammy again while he's on the apron, and he hits him with a nasty kick on that apron. Sammy comes back, but gets nailed with a nice kick and a backdrop suplex. Out of nowhere, he nails a ripcord Spanish fly, and that's going to be kind of the theme of Sammy's offense here. It's going to be a lot of hit and run. He's going to take a lot of beatings, and then out of nowhere, he's going to hit a big move. He's looking to go up top for that 630, but he's taking too long, and again gets kicked down. He stays up there though, and Bobby Fish goes up there with him, gives him an avalanche falcon arrow, beautifully done too. We get an exploder suplex from Fish to Sammy into the turnbuckles. Fish looks for a buzzsaw kick to end the match, but Sammy gets him for that GTS, and he hits it for 3. I was sad he got it. I really thought for a second when he was lining up for that buzzsaw kick, I was like, oh my god, they're gonna do it. And Sammy, with that explosive nature, gets that GTS. It was a really good finish. They worked me. I enjoyed it. And gosh, I hope this is not the last we see of Bobby Fish. He did have his own Tron. He had his own t-shirt. So I hope that means he's sticking around somewhere. I think there's plenty for him to do. But just don't put him in this next segment as the top guys immediately attack Sammy as the match is wrapping up there. They attack Sammy, the whole top guys group. Fuego del Sol comes out, tries to make the save, can't do it by himself. And so the Jericho and Hager of the Inner Circle make the real save. And that drives the top guys to the ramp. Dan Lambert tries to cut a promo, but the entire crowd still is singing Judas, so he has to wait for them to stop. He's trying to like egg them to stop. It doesn't work. He goes on, it just, trashing the crowd, trashing everything else. Eventually, he announces that he wants a 6-man tag in Florida, which is next week, between, I'm guessing, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky and one of the MMA guys. I'm sorry, I don't remember the MMA guys' names. He wants them versus, I guess it's going to be Jericho, Hager, and Fuego. That's what it looked like at the end there. I don't know yet. They didn't announce the participants, but the mic also crashes on Jericho as he's accepting, but eventually they do accept the challenge. So we're going to see that next week. I'm fine with it, I guess. I think I would like this story to, if it's going to do anything, I would like it to introduce Fuego into the inner circle officially. If it's going to do anything, which I don't know if it's going to achieve anything, honestly. I think it's going to be kind of a meaningless feud. But if it achieves just one thing, I hope it's that Fuego del Sol gets accepted into the inner circle. I think that'd be a fun addition. From there, we get an Acclaimed promo. They have a little rap on the stairs. I didn't write any of it down because that's embarrassing. I thought the rap was cringy. I think rapping gimmicks can be kind of cringy, especially if it's not taken, I don't know. I'm going to word this correctly. Because I think Hit Row's rapping gimmick kind of works because it shows them in the studio a lot and it shows them as like they're taking it seriously. These guys are just taking it as like an 80s, like doing it on the stoops of stairwells, which is original in its own sense, but it is just not connecting with me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But they do a rap, and then eventually they say they're going to take the tag titles from Penta and Rey Fenix. So, okay. Following that, Shavonnie. Following that, we have false advertisement tonight. I swear all week they've announced Tony Khan is going to have an announcement, right? Tony Khan's going to announce this. False. Tony Schiavone announces the new women's title, the TBS title. Aubrey Edwards holds up the title, displays it for everyone. It's fine. It's copy and paste of the TNT Championship. I'm not mad about it because I actually think the TNT title looks pretty decent now in its final form. Don't know why they ever put it out without it being in its final form, but hey. So yeah, they're going to have a new mid-card championship, which I am always a fan of. It gives more people more stuff to do and hopefully gives people more stories. From there, we have a Darby Allin and Jim Ross interview. It's a nice sit-down, moody lighting. Jim Ross just lets Darby Allin explain the entire DUI story and how when his uncle died, half of him died because of all the badness. It's kind of cliche, but it's real. It's a real story, and I felt like he delivered that well. And yeah, it's a great introduction for people who have never seen Darby Allin. Like if they are not familiar with him in the indies, which I wasn't that familiar with him, but obviously I did keep up more than casual fans. So yeah, I think it's a good introduction to Darby Allin, what he represents, and gives us like his mantra in total, which is crazy that it's taken 2 years for us to get this mantra, but I think it's okay because we've built up this trust with him as an in-ring performer, and now we can build up trust with him as a character even further. So yeah, I enjoy this bit. From there, we have Darby Allin versus Nick Comoroto. This is not much of a match. It does have one commercial break, which is the entire commercial break is all of Nick's offense. So you never see Nick's offense on actual TV, but Darby immediately starts off the match with a big dive to the outside. He hits a fury of offense in the ring, and he hits a nice springboard coffin drop. That doesn't drop Nick, though. Comoroto powers out of Darby's stunner and gets him up for a power slam. We go to commercial. We come back. We literally come back to Darby hitting that stunner and then hits a coffin drop onto Nick's back for the win. Really easy match here, and it even gets more embarrassing because after the match ends, QT Marshall gets in the ring, sneaks behind Sting and hits it with a cutter. Sting no-sells the cutter, immediately gets up and gives him a scorpion death drop. kind of embarrassing. I'm fine with it though. I'm not gonna defend QT's dignity here, and I don't think he minds. I think he has other priorities. So whatever. It was a fun enough match. From there, we have Dark Order in the locker room saying they are back on the same page, guys. The Dark Order are back on the same page, which I should have took as a spoiler for the main event, but I didn't. So yeah, Dark Order, they're back on the same page. They said that they don't need a leader anymore. They're gonna vote on everything like a family does, and we get a lot of fun back and forth between these guys. A really funny little segment there, ending with them all throwing up the claw and agreeing that they are back together. I enjoy it. I can't wait to see where this goes. Really sad that we're not going to see the Dark Order have a tag match anytime soon, for the titles at least. But eventually down the line, I think they're one of those combinations. John Silver with somebody is going to be the next tag team champions, and that's going to be a great moment. So I'm excited for that. From there, we have a Dante Martin promo in the ring. He says that he has shown how much of a problem he is by taking the fight to people like Kenny Omega. And he sets out an open challenge, says, I'm willing to fight anyone. Just when he says that, the lights go out, come back up. It's Malaki Black staring behind him like The Undertaker normally does. Dante Martin turns around, gets some black mist into his face and a black mask to the face. That knocks him down, and lights go back out. They come back up, and Dante's gone out of the ring, and Malachi's still in the ring. And he basically just accepts Dante's challenge. And then they pan out and it shows that Dante's actually just on the floor. But at first I was really confused. I was like, oh, did he just absorb Dante Martin? Did he just take him into this shadow realm or something? But no, it's just he was on the floor. That's all. He was taking a nap is all. Anyways, though, from there we have the FTW champion Ricky Starks in his never-ending feud with Brian Cage. First of all, he starts off by saying that he has the original FTW championship, the one that Taz first held. That's not true. That's not true at all, guys. If I'm not wrong, which correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, Taz had that orange strap one, first of all, and that it literally was just like the WWE Winged Eagle title with FTW tape on it. Was that not the first original FTW title? I think it was. So, liar. Anyways, he says that he was going to challenge Cage to a Philly street fight here, but Cage didn't show up. Just then, Brian Cage storms out to the ring, beats up Ricky Starks, and Team Taz has to make the save. This means Hook and Powerhouse Hobbs have to make the save. Hook was in some Palm Angels sweatpants, a sweatsuit attire. He looked very handsome. Very much enjoyed seeing Hook. Yeah, the segment was short. It's still continuing on this story that I'm not that interested in because, let's be honest, what is Cage's motivation here? Does he really, I guess it's just to beat up Ricky Starks, right? I guess that's fine. I was going to say, if he doesn't want the FTW title, right? He doesn't want that because then he would have to be in Team Taz again. I don't know. Maybe he should mention that. Maybe he should talk about wanting to take away the FTW championship because he feels they don't deserve it or something. I don't know. Do something. Get the title involved to where it actually, builds this thing. But anyways, from there we have a couple of the contestants for the TBS title tournament. They have a little bit of speaking bits. It's Thunder Rosa, Sky Blue, Ruby Riott, and Jade Cargill all giving their pieces about how they're going to win the tournament, which I'm excited for. From there, we have Serena Deeb taking on Hikaru Shida. If Hikaru Shida would win here, she would have had her 50th win on AEW, which is a huge deal. They even made a little trophy for her, a little glass trophy. It looked very nice. We get some great chain wrestling to start off this match. Both of these women are just great technicians. Hikaru Shida looks for a handshake at the end of that, but gets slapped. So it really sets the mood here for how this match is going to go. Hikaru Shida sets up a chair on the outside, but Serena throws the chair back under the ring. Isn't having any of that. As Hikaru is getting back into the ring, though, she eats a nasty neckbreaker on the ropes. We go to commercial, we come back, and Hikaru Shida is kind of making a comeback. She gets a nice front face lock in and does an airplane spin from that. Deeb does get a nice deep roll up that looked like if she didn't let it go, it would have been an accidental 3, but she gets 2 off of that, and then she gets nailed with a big V trigger that sends her to the outside. Hikaru Shida hits a big crossbody from the middle rope to the outside. Deeb takes advantage of Shida taking too long to get into the ring and hits a chop block and a dragon screw. Gets her back in and hits a fisherman's neckbreaker for 2. At this point, Shida is selling her knee pretty hard, and Serena Deeb is taking advantage of that. She's attacking at any chance she gets. Shida looks to hit her little sit-out dominator, but Serena Deeb avoids it, and then eventually, though, Shida does hit the dominator. Sorry, y'all, I just got all tongue twisted there. Shida does eventually hit her dominator. Gets a 2 off of that. She gets a Falcon Arrow for 2. Deeb blocks that katana. She rakes the eyes, hits an inverted dragon screw, which looked rough. She hits the detox for 2. At this point, the crowd is into this. Like, this is a fever pitch crowd. Anyone can win this match. Deeb's looks to lock in a tequila sunrise, and she is just like wailing away at the knee before she fully locks it in. So she's like slamming that knee against the mat. She locks it in fully, and Shida tapped. It really surprised me. I thought when this match was announced that it was guaranteed that Shida was going to win here. But no, we are seeing a little bit of a story being developed here with Serena Deeb and Hikaru Shida. Because post-match, Deeb takes the trophy that they had for Shida and nails her over the head with it. So we see a little bit of a heel turn. I mean, a definite heel turn. And yeah, this should be fun. It's a feud outside of the title picture, which I'm always a fan of, and I think that this is going to be some good matches, man. If they do another street fight, oof, that should be good. So yeah, I really enjoyed that match. That was the sleeper of the night. Like, if you didn't watch Dynamite, you definitely want to check out that match. From there, we have a Darby Allin interview in the parking lot. He gets told that MJF wants to challenge him for a match next week. He obviously accepts. As soon as he accepts, a limo pulls up, and I'm thinking, oh, that's nice, he has a limo. No, Darby immediately strips down his shirt and gets ready to fight whoever's in this limo. But before he can, he gets hit from behind with a steel chair from the chairman, Shawn Spears. But Shawn Spears is wearing a ski mask, so sneaky. Don't know if that's Shawn Spears for sure. More masked men come out of the limo. It's clearly the Pinnacle. Everyone on commentary was like, this is clearly the Pinnacle, even though they're in ski masks. So, don't know. They ram Darby into some barricades, and then Darby gets hit with an F10 onto those same barricades, which look rough, guys. I hate that bump. And then MJF, or is it? He's also in a in a ski mask. Comes out, takes Darby's skateboard, chokes him with it a little bit, and that was pretty much it for that little segment there. I really enjoyed everyone's commitment to being sneaky. Everyone had their little attires, you know. They were like, we're gonna be in ski masks, and that's our thing. Don't one of you take it off. I know it's hot. I know it's very hot in these ski masks, but don't take it off, please. You'll ruin it. Even though we can clearly see who everyone was. Following that, though, we have a Lio Rush promo. He looks to take Dante Martin under his wing. He tells him that he's going to need someone coaching him if he takes on Malaki Black. And again, his gimmick is still too similar to the Hardy family of like money launderer, bad business person, because he tells him he's going to get him all this money. It's not working for me. Lio Rush is a good talker, though, and he's an interesting promo. I think if he can differentiate himself from the Hardy gimmick, I would enjoy it. It's just right now, it's not anything different. So we're going to see how that plays out. From there, we get a Britt Baker promo. She says that she was hoping for the Cartoon Network title, which so was I. She says that she's glad all these jealous mams can fight amongst themselves now instead of bringing all their drama to her, and she'll be watching from this tournament closely from the top. So yeah, that's a pretty interesting little bit here that I didn't even think about. Is most of her challengers are actually in that tournament now. So I don't know how they're gonna set up her next opponent. She could cost someone their spot in the tournament. I wouldn't mind if you remember when Edge, right, who cost Kofi Kingston his spot in the Elimination Chamber that one night, and then he took his spot instead. I wouldn't mind that, to be honest. Britt Baker having Jamie jump someone so that way they don't win the title. I don't know. It's something a little bit more interesting, but it'd be. I think they need to definitely set up something for her because right now she has no number one contender. Well, actually, you can make the winner of the Serena Deeb and Hikaru Shida feud like the number one contender, which either one would be good. All right, y'all, we're getting to the main event of the evening. It is the casino ladder match. First of all, I just want to say I don't like the concept of this ladder match. I wish it was, if it was up to me, I would make it, I'm fine with the entrance thing, like clock runs down, someone runs down, right? I'm fine with that. Have it be the same rules as a War Games match, where the pin, where no one can win unless everyone's in the match. You know what I mean? So that way I think it would actually help a ladder match with its pacing. Because a lot of times, let's say in a traditional WWE ladder match, there's a lot of setting up of things where you're like, well, you could just go get the title. You don't have to be setting this up. If you give a ladder match a War Games style theme or a setup, you can actually kayfabe this setup. You can allow these wrestlers to set up all this stuff, whatever, and then no one could say, well, they should be reaching for the title because they can't. They cannot legally go up there yet. I know it adds more rules to this convoluted thing, but I think it's for the better. I think that would help the pacing. But this match did not need help with pacing because this match was just going from the minute it started. I think this match only had 20 minutes to work with, and you could tell because it started fast. We have Pac and Orange Cassidy to start off the match. Pac does not let Orange Cassidy do his pockets bit. He shuts that down, I think, twice. Andrade is out next. He immediately grabs the biggest ladder and then eats a really snug drop kick from Pac. Pac sets up a ladder, and Andrade springboards from the apron onto the ladder and then hits a nasty sunset flip off the ladder to Pac. Orange Cassidy then hits those devastating, absolutely knee-shattering super kicks to Andrade, and then he hits a really nice corkscrew Rana while his hands are in his pockets. Matt Hardy is in now. He gets a side effect on Orange Cassidy. They're continuing on their thread of hating each other, and that's going to come into play towards the finish. We get a huge moonsault to the outside of Pac. He tries to throw Lance Archer's in the ring now, or in the match now. He throws a jobber at Andrade, but Andrade ducks it, and that was really rude. He gets Pac up, but he can't hit his humongous slam as Pac evades that. But he does eventually clear the field, gets two ladders in the ring and creates a little bridge, sets up Orange Cassidy on that bridge, hits a big splash from the middle rope. Mox is out next. He's coming through the crowd, and Archer doesn't have any patience. He goes out there, meets him in the crowd. They start brawling in the concords, making their way back into the ring. We have a fun Orange Cassidy and Lance Archer exchange where Orange kind of does the orange punch, which makes Archer drop the ladder on his own head, kind of like Terry Funk when he would wheel it, but he was stationary. Hits another orange punch. This bends down Archer, so he gets on Archer's back and tries to get the thing from there. It was a cute little spot there. Then we have the Joker. The Joker being Adam Page, baby. He's back. Cowboy Shiznick is in the house. He's the Joker. He comes down, House of Fire. He goes right after Mox. He hits a nice fall-away slam onto a ladder. He gives Orange Cassidy that fall-away slam, which was a nice spot. But he gets cut off by Pac with the steel chair. Pac then sets up Page on a table and goes up a ladder. Looks to probably hit a black arrow, which would have been crazy to see. But Andrade cuts him off, gets up on that ladder with him. And Pac throws Andrade from the top of the ladder that's in the ring to the outside on the ladder bridge that's set up on a chair. Not even from... The ladder's on the apron and a chair, not an apron to the barricade. So it looked rough. Andrade slams down on the ladder, and it looks like he kind of skids it too. So, I felt so bad. That was a nasty spot. Anyways, this gives Page enough time to climb up there with Pac. He hits a dead eye from the top of the ladder, and it really just looks like he launches Pac off of him to try to keep it as safe as possible. So he kind of just throws him, and yeah, it was fun to see. He has a bunch of adrenaline. He gets back up and then gets hit with a paradigm shift. Orange Cassidy tries to fight off Mox as they're both on a ladder. Matt Hardy knocks down that ladder. They eat some rope. He sets up Orange Cassidy on the outside on the table and then gets on a ladder on the outside, hits a leg drop to Orange Cassidy, kind of sacrificing his and Orange Cassidy's chances of winning this thing. So back on the inside, Mox eats a choke slam off a ladder from Archer, but Archer gets nailed with a buckshot lariat. Mox cuts off Paige with a steel chair as Paige was climbing up the ladder. They both climb up. We get a forearm exchange that kind of ends awkwardly, like an anticlimactic little sell there from Mox, but he falls off and Paige wins the match, everyone. So he is the new #1 contender for Kenny Omega's World Heavyweight Championship, which I cannot be more excited about. And I should have led with that at the beginning, like how important this is, because this is the moment where Paige is going to start, he's going to become the AEW World Champion, if you ask me. And I think I'm right here. I think I am justified in saying this. I think we're looking at the next AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Man, this main event was a lot of fun. Overall, I felt that this show excelled in its in-ring ability, and I think I'm gonna give this show overall 3.5. No, I'm gonna give it 4 stars. 4 stars out of 5 because that Paige return was beautiful, and I'm really excited for what they're doing in the women's division. I think there's gonna be a lot of fun matchups coming. But my spot of the night, contrary to a lot of people's belief, I'm gonna go with that Andrade bump he took on that bridge. I was shocked. That was absolutely terrifying. So that's my spot of the night. Let me know what you guys think about this. I mean, this is so huge. What do you guys think about the TBS championship? Who should be the first champion? What do you guys think about Paige and Omega? Who's winning that? Oh, there's a lot of good stuff going on. Will the Dark Order get involved in this? I just don't even know anymore. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Make sure, if you got this far and you're not liking it, something's off there. That's a little rude. If you got this far, please make sure to leave a like on the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.